Hey people, this is my Fitz. It's a custom Supermoto. That's the made-up model name that I gave it because it's built around these Schwalbe tires, the G1 Speeds that used to be the Supermoto. And I think it's a great name, and they're actually beach racing tires. At the time, they were pretty much the only 60mm slick tire available. I had previously built up a Fisher that I got from a friend around these tires and a rigid Kona fork. That got stolen from my son's high school. But this bike is basically the culmination of all of the bikes that I've ever owned and wrenched on, worked on, and modified to be more like I want them to be. It has a rack made exactly for a basket. I just pulled the basket off to show somebody how that works, but it goes on really cleanly with 4 little button head M5s, and it's super solid, super great. John Fitzgerald designed the rack to go with a basket, and he also made some lowrider attachments that can go on when the basket's on. He did that for a trip for me. It was really nice. Dropper post, that's sort of the main cool thing here besides just giant ass slick tires on a road bike. We also have some blingy bling Onyx hubs. Well, one Onyx hub, that's all I could afford. And then another blingy bling big wide body Sun dyno hub, because the dynamo system is, for me, it's everything that I want always. This is a sweet little light. The light wiring is all crap because I don't know how to solder. So I have a really cool kit from Anton at Velo Lumino, and I've had it for probably a year and a half. I went to put it together and I realized that I didn't have the skills to make that work. So the rack and the fork, everything is all wired up. It's all rigged so it can go up inside, come out through here, up through the rack, pop out for the light, come back for the tail light. I just haven't done it yet. It's the outstanding thing. This is the little Moo light from B&M. Super cute, super great. It's always on. John made a groovy little nub in here, which isn't in focus, won't be in focus, can't be in focus, kind of in focus, but now it's too small to see. So that holds it there. This is a 3x9 drivetrain off of my Bontrager that now has an XTR crankset I got from Mike Varley quite a few years ago. XTR, the XTR rear derailleur is kind of my go-to rear derailleur. If I could get some Ritchie Logic cranks, I would do that here too, because those are also fantastic. These rim brakes are Avid Mags. I didn't know about them until I went to Mike Varley's garage sale, and he showed them to me, and he sold them to me with a little titanium insert bushing kit. So these are pretty fancy brakes. People always ask how come I didn't go for disc brakes, and that is because I don't like disc brakes. These work so good. They work better than some disc brakes I've ridden for sure. And I've had good luck with the Avids. I have them on my Bontrager. I have the tie lights now that I got for like $10 at a Community Cycles. So that was a nice score. This bike is based on that Bontrager, but it has a much higher top tube because I'm a big guy. It has this killer Nitto stem that came with the RM3 bars from Blue Lug. It is made for the bars, and these are my favorite bars. To me, they're exactly like the old Wilderness Trail Cunningham bars, which I have on my Quick Beam. I can't tell the difference. If there is a difference, doesn't matter. A lot of wires and things up front. A few wires and things in the back. I really like the mid mount for the dropper because John, we talked about running things through the through the frame and everything, but it seemed like a pain in the ass, especially if I wanted to change it at some point. I'm an old guy, I don't want to learn new tricks, and this everything running under the top tube to me is a really clean way to deal with a lot of wiring. And it also lets me, if I wanted to take these dropouts and swap them for single speed dropouts and lose some of these wires, you wouldn't really be able to tell because there wouldn't be a ton of unused bosses. I could probably just run the brake boss across the drive side of the bike so it would look cool. P&W dropper post, P&W drop bar dropper lever. I'm probably never going to cut the steer. Why bother? Cool rack, cool light, cool wheels. Mike Varley built these wheels for me. They are Velocity Quill, wide tubeless rims. I tried to get some really cheap, stupid rims from him, and he's like, those aren't going to work. Those are disc only rims. They have tiny, tiny brake tracks if they have any at all. And I realized that, you know, why put a $5 plant in a 50-cent hole if you're going to build with a killer silent onyx? Just do it right. So I did it right. That's pretty much it. Indexed 3x9 bar end shifters. A little bit of a wide stance, but I haven't had a problem with them yet. More bling, blingy bling. I really like these. I like the King Iris cages. They just look great to me. Sort of a product of my time. Those were the coolest looking cages when I was, you know, coveting cages I couldn't afford. So I've got them. I like them. They hold the stuff real good. This is a funny little thing. Sort of a Lanterne Rouge cork hanging from the saddle. I got that at a Bruce Gordon memorial from one of Bruce's old friends who had Bruce's shunk drill press. And so he drilled out all of these corks he had, put the chain through them, and gave them to the people who came to the memorial. It was really nice. So I've had that on there for a year and a half or so. People ask about it. It's just a funny thing. I have this this bell, and the cool thing about the bell is you don't have to ring it and take your hands off the bar. If you're in a situation where it's appropriate, you can just unhook it and it'll ding-a-ling-ding like a cowbell. And generally I don't care for noises, which is how come I like that Onyx hub. The Schwalbe kind of pissed me off because there's a bubble in the sidewall now. Down here, wonk, wonk, wonk. And so, because there was a bubble in the sidewall, I stole the pedals, put them on my Kona because I was going to sell the Kona Big Hanzo, but ended up not. But I'm probably going to get some VP Vice normal Rivendell Bobbish bike nerd pedals and put on here. The wah-wah pedals I had on there have a big bearing right next to the crank, which bugs me a tiny bit. Not enough to not have it for 2 years, but a tiny bit. Anyway, that's my bike. I love it. It's great. Totally recommend John for anything you need to have done bicycle-wise. He's great to work with, and clearly he does phenomenal work. That's it. Bye.